Hello Internet, we are going to do a couple more Battle Spot games, and hopefully I've twiddled around with my settings a little bit. Hopefully you'll be able to go to the one setting higher quality on YouTube for the video now. Hopefully that'll work. If not, then you can still see what's happening, can't you? Still better than the old webcam, using that to do the old Battle Spot business. But this is a Big 16 with a Thunderous, so the Thunderous does actually make things a little bit difficult for me if he chooses to bring it. So I don't like this. It's never fun playing this team, is it? But we've got to. Unfortunately, this is the format that we're using. So how are we going to go about this? Well, let's go Sableye, Salamence. I guess we've got to do this. And he's picked his Pokemon quite quickly as well, so let's see what happens. I guess. I wonder if he'll be leading with Thunderous though. I would kind of suspect he might. And my Salamence doesn't really appreciate Thunderous, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. That is... oh, okay. Well, that is a pretty decent lead for me, I'd say. The Salamence is on this team to help with both of those Pokemon, so the fact that I get my Intimidate onto both is nice. It is tempting to go for a Hyper Voice. A Hyper Voice would put Sableye out of Eruption range, but he could just be Brave Birding my Sableye at the same time as well. I'm kind of expecting the Talonflame to go for a Tailwind here. It is intimidated, so it's not going to be doing much damage. So I've got options. Do I want to Gravity first turn? I think I do want to Gravity first turn. But do I want to Tailwind myself, or Double Edge, or Hyper Voice? I think Hyper Voice would be nice, but I do want to get the knockout onto the Talonflame. I'm going to go for a Hyper Voice, I think. I might regret this, because I think he's going to be getting his Tailwind up, and it's going to mean that, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to have any chance to knock out the Talonflame before I have to bring some of my Pokemon in the back in. So I don't know, maybe I should have Double Edged the... ooh! He was expecting a Tailwind of his of my own there. Interesting. Or a substitute, maybe. But nope, just an Eruption. A Hyper Voice, rather. And, yeah, like I was saying, that should... yeah! You see, I know my calculations. The Hyper Voice should put the Sableye out of Eruption range. So we get the Gravity up, which is fantastic. And my Salamence is taunted, so I can't Tailwind. His Talonflame will be going for a Tailwind now, but I don't mind that, because as long as I get the knockout here with Hyper Voice, then I should be okay. Yeah, and I went for the Feint there because there was a decent chance he was always going to protect the Groudon there, just to get a bit more leverage from his Tailwind, which he is going for, yeah. So good. I mean, like, he's got the Tailwind up, which obviously, is not brilliant, but I've reduced the Talonflame down to the ground, and the Groudon is just on a, in range of anything barring Feint, I guess. And I don't think Moonblast will knock it out there either. So he's free to fake out my Salamence and go for another Eruption. I don't know, like, well, maybe not an Eruption, but just a Precipice Blades if he's got it, if it is a mixed one. I mean, Salamence is taunted, so I can't protect here. So I'm just going to taunt his Groudon, and I guess just go for a Hyper Voice and see what happens. Okay, well, I'm fine with that. Well, or am I? Because the Groudon, we're having Gravity. Ooh, Ancient Power. That probably will knock me out. Yeah. With a critical hit. I am naive, so I'm not entirely sure on that, but you know, it is what it is. Oh, we're in a nasty position now, actually, because okay, so we used Tailwind, then the next turn he did that, so this is this turn. So we've got one more Tailwind after this, haven't we? Yeah, we're in a nasty position because this Groudon does look like it's fully special. That's kind of annoying because if it didn't have Ancient Power, then I don't think it would have been able to knock out my Salamence. So that Ancient Power worked out for him there. But now he's free to basically knock out my Whimsicott with a Double Edge and knock out my Groudon with an Earth Power. So I guess I've got to protect my Groudon here and go for a Grass Whistle onto the Kangaskhan and hope he does go for an Earth Power. Like, he will have Earth Power because we've seen Eruption. I don't think he'll go for an Eruption here. Ancient Power, don't think he'll go for an Ancient Power. Grass Whistle does hit, which is nice. We'll see. And he does go for an Earth Power into the Groudon. Good, okay. And so we've got one more turn of Tailwind. Whew. Obviously I'm going to Grass Whistle the Groudon here, but my own Groudon, are you going to Precipice Blades or Swords Dance? Just because I think this other Groudon might be max speed as well, and it could wake up first turn. I don't think I'm going to mess around with it. On the other hand, it might just Protect. Like, a Protect is pretty obvious for it, and so a Swords Dance would be nice. Or tricky. I'm going to go for a Swords Dance. Maybe this is a mistake. I'm thinking that this is a mistake, but okay. Maybe it's not a mistake. Maybe I should have more faith in myself. I just need to hope that this Kangaskhan doesn't wake up straight away, which it doesn't. Good. So, whew, this is another game where, you know, a 2 in 3 chance, and I potentially win the game. 1 in 3, if that Kangaskhan woke up there, then okay, like, my Groudon could have potentially won the speed tie if it is a speed tie against this Groudon, knocked them both out with Precipice Blades, but then he's got Xerneas in the back. Maybe Moonblast wouldn't have knocked me out. Maybe, I don't know. You know, it's lots of rolls. That's one of the things about this team. There's lots of sort of RNG involved in it, and all of my teams tend to be that way. But just gonna go for a Precipice Blades, and I suppose. An Encore, because I kind of wanted to Encore the Kangaskhan there, just because it might wake up and just knock out my Whimsicott here. But yeah, and I think this is what's happening. So I'm knocking out both of his Pokemon here if my Precipice Blades hit. Whose Groudon does go first here? My Groudon goes first. I should have Encored the Kangaskhan there into... I mean, I wasn't to know, I suppose, if it was a speed tie on his Groudon and if I would win the speed tie. Because, like, I thought if I don't Encore the Groudon there and he does win a speed tie, he can just Earth Power, knock out my Groudon, and that's game over. Like, that's a definite game over. That looks like Xerneas, so I think we should be alright here. I was really considering going for the Encore onto the Kangaskhan because it did use Fake Out. That was the last move it used, I'm pretty sure. And so that would have prevented the knockout onto my Whimsicott, and then I would have just needed that speed tie, if it was a speed tie, to knock out his Groudon. So, you know, we're in obviously a very good position here. Yeah, and he forfeits. So, suppose technically he could have won if I'd missed all of my moves, but he just thought there was no point in dragging that out. So let's march onwards into the further abyss of Battle Spot and see how we go. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll climb the ladder, like, off camera a little bit, because I suppose we're getting some decent games. Maybe it'd be nice to show some higher games, though. I don't know. We'll see. I suppose, you know, we keep getting paired with, like, over 1,700, so I suppose it doesn't matter that much. But we'll see. Ooh, forgot the music business. Let's have 23, whatever that is. And let's see who we get as well. Yeah, I think I was saying in the last video about the Salamence slot. It's a funny one. I might try Landorus again. I might go back to using Talonflame again in that slot. Maybe try Crobat in that slot, although I'm not too sure about that. I think Talonflame might be better. I don't know. It's really puzzling me, that slot. We saw Salamence did do some work in that last game though, so you know, good on you, Salamence. There's a plus next to you for that. But that was the perfect lead for me against his Groudon and Talonflame. The thing is that you lead Groudon and Talonflame because that will basically just shut down anything else. If I don't lead Salamence, then Groudon and Talonflame does just give me a really hard time. So like I can't. That's why I've got the Salamence. But come on, Battle Spot, don't fail me now. Let's see if we can find someone this time. Fingers crossed. I did do a couple of games on Battlespot just before this. Won one, lost one, just to sort of try and get into the swing of it again. I'm pretty poor, like, when I play Rusty, like if I just wake up and play a game, or... That's why I think I tend to lose, like, the first game at Nationals or whatever quite often, just because the old cogs aren't working. I'm an old man now, you know, so it takes me a while to get my brain working. But we've got... Is this... It's very similar to just Alex's team, isn't it? Yeah, Double Primal, Bronzong, Mawile, Salamence. And... Can't remember what Alex had in that last slot. Don't think it was Thunderous, was it? Either way, we will put some Pokemon out. One of the games that I played just before this was a team just like this, and I like destroyed it, which was nice. I do feel quite comfortable when I play this sort of team. I mean, I say that, but I suppose it depends how they play it, what they lead. Because I'm kind of expecting that Thunderous to lead. I really am. Well, we want Sableye. I mean, he might just lead Bronzong, Mawile, in which case I do want Gengar, but I think he's going to go with the Thunderous, surely. So we'll go with Kyurem in this game. This might be a mistake, but we just have to see, don't we? If he does lead with Mawile and Bronzong, then I would have preferred Gengar. Okay, so he's probably got the Lumberry on the Bronzong, but his Mawile would have been sitting there, all vulnerable to a Hypnosis. And this looks like a Mawile and Bronzong. Brilliant. So, how are we going to go about this? See, I'm not even sure if a sun-boosted Fusion Flare will knock out the Bronzong. Because I could switch in my Groudon and do that. I could taunt it, but if he just play roughs the Sableye, I've not getting my gravity up. This is tricky. This is tricky. He might even just bring his Kyogre in here and go for a Trick Room. I'm going to go for a Gravity, and this might seem silly, I'm just going to go for a Blizzard. I'm kind of expecting the Kyogre to come in here, though. Is it kind of good? Yeah, just because I could have gone for the Fusion Flare onto his Bronzong. Now the thing is that like I do consider like all of these things. Sableye and Mawile are the same base speed, so whichever is the slowest, whichever switches out last, gets the weather basically. And I kind of expected, half expected the switch there. Blizzard is a bit of damage on anything really. There's potential freeze chances too, which is always nice. Although the Bronzong probably does have a Lumberry. Yeah, Trick Room. But I've got Quash still, and I can... Well, is he going to go for a... He's probably just going to go for a Gyro Ball, isn't he? So I could Quash. Or I could Taunt, because Skill Swap is potentially an issue too. So I am actually going to go for a Taunt there. And... I think my Groudon switching is fairly obvious. I'm just going to go for a Blizzard. He might Skill Swap here. Hopefully he doesn't have a Mental Herb. But he does, of course he does. That does mean that I can put it to sleep though. And he does go for a Gyro Ball, so no Skill Swap. So hopefully he knocks out both of my Pokemon here. Wow, I actually didn't expect that to one-shot my Kyogre, my Kyurem. But yeah, I don't mind this position too much, because I have got Gravity up. For only, what, 3 more turns though, but... I know that I can put the Bronzong to sleep. See, it was a case of either he does have the Mental Herb, and that taunt was useless, or I taunt him, and he can't Skill Swap, and I can't put him to sleep. I mean, we know that one of his back Pokemon are Mawile, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm just thinking that his last one is probably his own Groudon. So I want a Swords Dance here, and I'm going to Grass Whistle the Bronzong, just because I'm expecting a Skill Swap. The Kyogre might switch out. It does. Bronzong don't normally tend to have Protect, though. Yeah, he wanted that Intimidate, but the Swords Dance kind of gets around that. Yeah, so no Lumberry on this Bronzong, so it can sleep. That was kind of clever though, because he will be able to get his Rain now, and being at +1 means there's no way that I can one-shot his Kyogre. So I'm almost tempted to go for another Swords Dance, honestly. This might seem reckless, but I'm going to do it. The Mawile might Protect. Because it's Mega Evolving, I'm thinking it's not protecting. It might just be going for a Sucker Punch here. In which case, the Sucker Punch should go first. Yeah, because we're in Trick Room. And so, well, that's annoying. It does mean that he'll be able to get a Sucker Punch on me. That shouldn't make too much of a difference. Because we are in Trick Room, his Mawile is faster in Trick Room, and his Grass Whistle, my Grass Whistle, his Sucker Punch is the same priority, so he gets the Sucker Punch first, basically. So I am definitely going to go for a Precipice Blades this turn. And... I could protect Whimsicott because he might be Gyro Balling it. And the Grass Whistle doesn't really stop anything, because it's going to be getting the Sucker Punch either way. I'm just thinking if the Bronzong wakes up here and breaks my Whimsicott Sash. Ooh. Okay. So that was nice, but I think Trick Room is ending soon. Yeah, Trick Room has ended, and Gravity's ended. Well, the Safeguard is kind of annoying, because it, just sort of takes out the 50% Grass Whistle chance that I've got now. Gravity's gone down, but I'm expecting it is Groudon, yeah. On these double primal teams, the Groudon is sometimes actually really fast. It's sometimes timid. Or jolly, whatever. And because he did get that Sucker Punch onto my Groudon, it is in Precipice Blades range. So, whatever... Like, if this Groudon wins a potential speed tie, this is like a Trick Room team, so you never really know. But if the Groudon is faster, or just avoids my Precipice Blades, it will be able to knock out my Groudon. The Kyger isn't really threatening that much, to be honest. But I don't have any option here. Because I missed, like, that 9% Grass Whistle miss on his Mawile a few turns earlier, that allowed him to get that bit of chip damage on here. So if his Groudon does win the speed tie, and it is physical, then that's allowed him to basically knock me out with Precipice Blades. So there's nothing that I can do here. I can't Protect, I can't Grass Whistle. I've got to Moonblast, I suppose, and I'll do it on the Kyger just for a special attack drop potential, because it's not going to do anything to the Groudon. Even a -1 Earth Power should knock out my own Groudon, but it looks like if that was a speed tie, I did win it. You know, again, this is a Trick Room team, so you never really know, but sometimes the Groudon is maximum speed, so that might have been a speed tie. But luckily I did hit my blades, my Precipice Blades. Just making sure I can say that word. So, whew, quite a nervy game there in the end, actually. Quite interesting to see Safeguard on the Bronzong as well. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. You know, please like and share everything. I've got maybe a couple of little surprises, you know, in store. Maybe we'll see. Hopefully, some more stuff that you might enjoy coming up later. But for now, you know, just a bit of Battle Spot. So thanks a lot, guys. Please like and share if you think it deserves such treatment. And goodbye for now.